It's 6 months until Election Day, and there is news from the campaign trail. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden publicly denied a former aide's accusation that he sexually assaulted her in 1993. Our CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe reports.
In every case, the truth is what matters. In this case, the truth is these claims are false.
Joe Biden on Saturday once again denied accusations of sexual assault. His accuser, Tara Reade, worked for him for 9 months, ending in 1993. Last year, she was among several women who recounted what they called inappropriate touching by Biden. She began detailing more serious allegations for the first time in March.
I remember his hands underneath my blouse and underneath my skirt, and his fingers penetrating me as he was trying to kiss me, and I was pulling away.
What are you going to win today?
Reade supported Bernie Sanders during the Democratic primary and began speaking out again as Biden was on the verge of securing the nomination. CBS News has spoken multiple times with Reade, and we have requested an on-camera interview. She is the only individual who has accused Biden of sexual assault. Some of her acquaintances, former colleagues, and her brother tell CBS News they recall her mentioning the alleged Biden episode in the 1990s. But details of her brother's account have differed in interviews with other news outlets. Several former Biden Senate aides have said that they never heard about Reade's allegations while working for him. And attorney Bill Jeffers, who led the vetting of Biden for Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, tells CBS News that his investigation never turned up allegations of sexual misconduct.
And Ed O'Keefe joins us. Ed, it's good to see you and to talk about politics again. This story, I mean, it opens up a lot of questions, and it's important to investigate these kind of allegations politically. If President Trump faces accusations from more than 20 individuals about sexual harassment and abuse, does it hurt Biden if it didn't hurt Trump? I mean, is there a political cost?
We'll see. A lot of this is going to boil down to whether or not there are any records of a complaint that Reade says she made to a Senate Personnel Office back in the 1990s about general harassment concerns with Biden. He's called for their release. But Republicans, especially this morning, are making a hypocrisy argument that if it was a big deal for Donald Trump, if it was a big deal for Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation, shouldn't it also be a big deal for Joe Biden's presidential prospects? You're right. Trump won the White House. Kavanaugh got confirmed. We'll see ultimately whether or not it matters for Biden and his fortunes.
All right. Well, I want to ask you about some of our CBS News polling, because we have new data out today, and this new national poll shows that in the head-to-head matchup, Biden is ahead of President Trump by 6 points, 49% versus 43%. And since the Biden campaign started officially vetting vice presidential possibilities last week, he's pledged to name a female running mate. So we then asked who Democratic voters would like to see on the ticket alongside him. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren is the top choice among Democrats polled at 36%, followed by California Senator Kamala Harris at 19%, former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams at 14%. Senator Amy Klobuchar comes in at 13%. So that's interesting. But when it comes to the guy at the top of the ticket, Biden himself, what does this indicate? Why is Trump behind?
Well, he's always been either pretty much tied or very close with Biden in head-to-head matchups, and he is now nationally as well as in a lot of these battleground states. Part of the issue here is the economy. He wanted to run on a strong economy. He can't do that anymore, and if the economy continues to crater, it's going to be really difficult for him to continue making that argument.
Well, and it's difficult to campaign, period, these days. President Trump tweeted this morning, "Hopefully our country will soon mend. We're missing our wonderful rallies." Is the country missing political rallies, Ed?
Well, look, the president may be itching to get back out there, but a new poll out this morning, our new poll, finds that voters say they're seeing the president too much. Just 11% saying they're seeing the president enough. And while Biden has been holed up in his Delaware basement doing TV interviews and holding virtual rallies, voters say they'd actually like to see more of him. 47% say they'd like to see him more often. Perhaps the good news for both of these men, they like to campaign. They're strong retail politicians. An overwhelming 84% of voters in our poll say that just because they're not out there doing rallies won't affect their final decision. In other words, voters telling the candidates, it's okay, stay home.
And there is nothing typical about this race this year at this moment.
Not at all.
Ed, I know you'll be watching it closely for us.